Hey guys, this is Random Stuff with Alex Hughes, and today is day 30 of the Self Transformation Challenge. I mean, wow, 30 days, guys. And so it's been great to spend this last month basically focusing on my physical and mental health. I think it was a great choice that I made 30 days ago because let's see, where was I at 30 days ago? So I wasn't really focusing much on nofap or or even any of the self improvement stuff, to be honest. At that time, 30 days ago, I just finished the semester for the most part at Miracosta, and so it was just two classes this semester. And I had an idea to move forward with my social media marketing company, and I actually wrote an idea um, for that out, and I was posting twice on this page that was going to be like a lead up, like building my reputation. And then I had my own personal page where I was posting twice a day, and I was traveling on the bus, usually down to San Diego, close to the border, and I was buying quite a lot of stuff, and I think I was doing so much at that time where I was like, I got to, work on the house. I'm working on this business idea, but my meditation practice really faltered. I was putting that aside like it wasn't really that big of a deal, and I was just really not putting a lot of quality into my practices for self-care. And so what I noticed was this kind of anxiety started to build in the back of my mind, but I ignored it. I was like, that doesn't mean anything. And then eventually, I'd say midweek, and about probably early to mid June, I noticed the anxiety or the stressful emotions started to get very strong. And so by the second week, yeah, I'd say by the end of the second week, I noticed I was like, wow, I haven't had these feelings for ages. Like I said before that, I did NoFap, and I was still on the NoFap journey, and I never relapsed. I didn't go back to, watching anything on Stars. I didn't watch movies because I wanted to find, maybe a certain scene in there. I never went back to that. I never went to the M. Um, you know, and I, I've stayed MGTOW, or I've stayed, I guess, Red Pill, I haven't gotten, a girlfriend, but I would say that my mind was so preoccupied with what happened in the fall, and in the back of my subconscious mind that was still kind of haunting me, and I was listening to all this music, at nighttime. It was beautiful because, I was standing out there and I was just watching the lights twinkling, and but in the back of my head it's like all this music about, love and romance, and all this kind of brought me down in a way, but also put me in a mindset that, I mean, right before sleep, that's when you have those dreams, and I just noticed that my overall quality of life was going down for myself personally. My practices were kind of faltering, and I kind of had a little bit of low energy. Like, when I would be doing something around the house, my energy level wasn't that high, and my focus was like all over the place. I was trying to build it by, trying to finish things one thing at a time, but I felt like I was doing so much at once that I couldn't focus on one thing. I was doing so much at once. I was like, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and my eating too, my portion control. I was like, I had a hard time managing my portion control. For lunch, which I always thought was the biggest meal of the day, so I I kind of like eat a lot. And then, I wasn't very active either. And that's something that I kept reminding myself, like to tell myself, like, you got to be more active. I had these goals to kind of slim down in a way, and build muscle, but I never really got around to those goals. There was a lot of self development stuff that I kind of put on the table because I thought the most important thing for me right now is to make money. And that's actually on my wall. It's one thing equals money. And what I forgot was just the cultivation of a self-care practice, and how that really can manage and mitigate a lot of stress. And so that's why I went on this journey. on that Friday, I came back home. What was crazy is like the morning I was feeling, so I was feeling a little bit of something, but it wasn't that bad. But I just noticed that it started to grow, and I was like, whoa, especially when I was on the bus, I noticed just kind of this feeling of uneasiness started to grow on me. And I tried to do meditation, but I couldn't focus. I was used to for a while actually doing meditation just on the bus. I do long meditation, and it was working out quite well. But then I stopped because I was doing social media marketing. So on the bus, I was like, oh, this is a great time to do Instagram marketing and posting stuff. And so I ended up doing that instead, and um, I got stressed out. I got I think I was just putting so much pressure on myself that I couldn't do the meditations anymore because I was feeling so edgy. And when I was in Del Mar, and I just noticed myself like really uneasy, and just this sense of uneasiness I haven't felt for a long time. And by the time I got home, I just it was crazy. I hadn't felt like this for a very long time, and I think that was a signal to my body was telling me like, hey man, you gotta rest. You gotta do self development again. You gotta get back on your goal again. And so that's from that point forward, I was like really driven to be like, I gotta work on all this stuff. And so what I did was I did intermittent fasting. I implemented that, and I took out my last meal of the day because I felt that when I would eat at lunch, I would eat more than enough to get me throughout the day. I didn't feel full at all. I'd eat something at lunch, and then I got home and I wasn't hungry, but I still ate because I was telling myself, oh, I might get hungry before bed. And I didn't feel hungry at all. There was a point in time where I think I was eating so much food that in the morning I woke up and I wasn't hungry because I ate so much throughout the day, so many calories, and I didn't burn any of those calories off because I wasn't working out, I wasn't active, I was living a very sedentary lifestyle. When you're in college, you sit in front of that computer for so long, and I didn't have a gym membership. And so yeah, that was one thing I worked on. I worked on playing basketball because it was one of those things that I started to do about 4 years ago when I had, that high level of anxiety, and I was like, I got to get out, and I did that for most of the 30 days. I did basketball. There was kind of a couple days where I didn't do basketball, but I noticed my skill set was improving, and I was like my dribbling. I was like, wow, I'm getting a lot more solid with dribbling. I'm watching these videos. I could actually dribble between my legs, a little bit of that, and it was great to be out there, and the social connection. You're on a court. Sometimes you're sharing courts with other guys, and you're talking with them. And I met one senior, in high school that was cool. We connected and we talked with each other. I met a couple other guys, and I got to see just like how kind of that masculine energy. I was like, wow, these guys, they're strong, and their voices are deep, and but they just seem so focused. And with basketball, it's like you get out there. So instead of just being in the house all the time, you're getting active, and it feels great like to be in the game. And I really enjoyed basketball. I enjoyed I got better at shooting too. I was making baskets, and like I said, I went so many courts. I went to Buccaneer Park. I went to the Bridge Park in Oceanside. Beautiful view. Probably one of the best views I've seen. I went to Calaveras in Carlsbad. I went to Bringle Terrace. I went to Shadow Ridge, South Buena Vista Park. I went to Oceanside. Oh yeah, I went to that park. It was kind of like Carrasco, I think, or it was in the East Oceanside. So it kind of made a little sketchy area. I went to a couple other parks, Guajome, and I just kind of stuck to my local area. Kind of representing North County. But it was great to see all these parks that I'd never been to before, and to see these people out, and to just get outside, and I'm sure I got enough tan, and just my skill set was improving. I saw it like when I first started playing to when I started just little by little every single day. I went out. I went out Sunday. I even tried it. I think I went out on July 4th. Maybe not. But yeah, I went on July 4th. I went to Luz Duran Park, and it's just great because it's a side that I never really explored a lot. I did basketball back in middle school, and I also did a little bit over the years, not too much, but just keep being active. I saw my legs were getting stronger, my skill set was getting stronger, and my advice to you guys is, to get out there and get active, and instead of living kind of like that sedentary lifestyle, on front of the computer, in front of your TV, to get out there and to meet people and to just be around people is it changes the dynamic a lot, because a lot of times, you're inside the house and you're not really experiencing life a lot. So I did basketball. I did cold showers. That was actually something I adopted early on, and that was just one of the things I always heard about in NoFap. I don't know why I never took it on the first time around in NoFap, but I took on cold showers, and it was amazing how I actually built the tolerance to cold water, and I felt so energized. I'd go in a cold shower, and I would be hard to think about anything else because the cold water, and just the feeling that just it just wakes you up, and you feel that kind of like maybe that testosterone boost afterwards, that rush of energy because that cold water hits you and you're like ready to go. And especially in the morning, it just wakes me up because a lot of times I would take a warm shower, and warm showers feel very nice, but you feel kind of tired afterwards. You don't feel that same feeling when you're doing a cold shower where you're like ready to go, and you can take on the next day, and it feels great. It's very refreshing, because the air hits you, and it's been better because it's been warmer, because I started back in mid-June, and that's when it was like, kind of gloomy outside and the temperature wasn't as high. But then, I'm in about mid-July now, and it's like it's a bit hotter out. It's a bit warmer outside, to be honest, guys. But yeah, so I did the cold showers, and I don't remember skipping any days. But like I said, I'm definitely keeping cold showers. I don't know about winter, guys, because winter in California can still be kind of cold. But cold showers. I also did meditation. Definitely, guys. I focused mostly on breath work just to get the basics. Because I was trying to do, like, I was on that bus that time when I was feeling that kind of that tension, and I was just focusing on like visualization, all these different meditations, but I needed something that was going to just ground me, and I've been doing breath work in out. Sancti, like I say, 18-minute meditation is a great one because afterwards you just don't, your body feels so relaxed, and it's so simple. And so I've been doing breathwork meditation when I'm outside, and I've replaced a lot of my meditation that I've been doing over the years with breathwork because I really need to cultivate that basic focus of my mind. Because I was trying to do the smiling meditation, I was trying to do single point meditation, I was trying to do all these different ones, but I really needed to cultivate that breath work just to build that focus muscle because I've been focused on so many things that it's taken away my attention and ability to sit down. I was cultivating that with homework and whatnot, and it did work out very well, but just overall in daily life, I need to just focus more and build that muscle. So I'm definitely keeping meditation. There's no way I'd go a day without meditation because that's like the way to prevent a lot of sickness and a lot of mental disturbances is just to be able to focus on your breath and to stay present in the moment because my gosh guys, sometimes it's like you're focusing on so many things at one time that it's just hard to stay in control of your thoughts. And I noticed that in my meditations just months earlier, even a year earlier, where I couldn't focus. I was so focused on what I was going to do today, and so that adrenaline rush of like, I got to do this on my to-do list. I got to do this on my to-do list. And sometimes you think about women. They get in your mind, and it's a little bit hard to focus after that, right? Because you have all those different sensations and things pulling your attention away. But I'm definitely keeping meditation. I'm keeping the nature, trying to connect with nature in the morning. Like morning walks, I'm definitely keeping. Because I kept telling myself on my PDA, I mean, I haven't had my PDA for like 2 years almost. But I kept saying like, I'm going to jog 5 minutes. And I never got around to jogging 5 minutes. But what I did adopt this month is walking about 2 hours in the morning, and walking in the local area, and it's been so great, guys, because it's really just relaxed me. It's strengthened my leg muscles. I've developed mindfulness. I've seen people along the way. Actually, you socialize with people. You see people, you say good morning, and sometimes just that saying that good morning gets you out of that social anxiety. And you say good morning to people, you see people, and you just get more comfortable around more people in your neighborhood. And that's actually something that I've been trying to do for the last couple years or so, is just who is in this neighborhood, and building those connections with neighbors is great, not only for favors, but just trying to socialize with people, because sometimes you need to see people face to face, talk about different ideas. Um, and so that's something that's really cool, is just to be able to connect with other people, and to be up in the morning instead of, like I said, guys, before this 30-day challenge, my routine was I woke up at about 5:30. I lay in bed for 30 minutes, and I was like just laying in bed. My thoughts were just all over the place. They're like, oh, I got to do this today, and I didn't really have a routine in the morning, and I'd basically get out of bed. I didn't do any affirmations. I didn't do yoga. I didn't do meditation. I get out of bed. I have my breakfast, which was usually actually, my breakfast is usually like a lot of bread, no smoothies. Like I said, no smoothies, guys. I'd have fruit. But after breakfast, I just sit on the couch, guys, literally for an hour, hour and a half, about maybe till about 7:30. So I'd wake up around 5:30, have breakfast, and then watch TV for maybe about an hour, hour 15 minutes, and I'd watch like Shark Tank. I'd watch kind of these shows that really weren't building me. I mean, I was learning something like Dirty Jobs, Yard Crashers, but it wasn't like building me to that next level. It wasn't about meditation. It wasn't about self development. It wasn't about confidence. It wasn't about, it was mostly about like, stuff in the external world. And there'd be drama, like you guys seen Shark Tank before, right? Kevin O'Leary, he gets angry, and he kind of brings people down a lot in his, he says he's being honest, but a lot of times it rubs off the wrong way. And kind of that negativity, and that reality TV is a lot about drama, guys. I mean, Shark Tank, come on. I remember Shark Tank. It's like, they come into the tank, and then there's that dramatic music, and then the earlier seasons were so dramatic. They were on top of like a podium, basically, looking down on these guys, and they had the stacks of money. It was so dramatic. Some of the early episodes, they literally have stacks of money on the. I don't know if it's real money, guys, but it's like literally stacks of money. And then they do their pitch, and usually the sharks would interrupt. Early on, the sharks would interrupt, and then they want like 50% or 75% of the business. And then when they talk with these entrepreneurs, a lot of times it was very harsh and direct, and it was like, just that negativity. I realized that, like, wow, I'm watching this, and I'm noticing myself get a little bit tense. I'm noticing myself get a little bit attached, and definitely they sell their product. The beginning, it says it's not a solicitation to buy stuff, but it's like, oh, I want to buy this product, and so I just realized that I could be spending the time in the morning doing exercise, kind of clearing up my head, and just getting my muscles started for the day. So there's no doubt, guys, I'm gonna keep that up. I don't know how it's gonna look in the winter when the time it's like 5:30. There's no sun. So maybe I'll go out at 5:30, but I'll have to see how that goes. But that's something I gotta keep, is the morning walks, just to get myself active, and to get myself out there, and see people. Another thing I did, guys, was I try to focus on my water intake, but I noticed that I was going to the bathroom so many times. I mean, even before this 30-day challenge, I'd be drinking so much water, and I'd have to pee, so I'd have to go to the bathroom so much. And sometimes when you're on a walk and you're in a rural area, there's no bathrooms around, and I'm not gonna go on anybody's property. That's messed up. That's so messed up. So it's like, that's why it's really tricky, like, to drink all that water before you go on a walk, because it's like the water doesn't get out right before, it takes some time. So by the time you're on that walk and you're just about to get home, and you're quite a distance from home, you're like, I gotta use the bathroom, but there's no bathroom around. um, I found walks were a great time to practice mindfulness and to stay focused on the present moment, because I had this crazy thing today. I told myself this morning that I would have another epiphany. And, I was at the transit station and I looked at the schedule, and there was somebody had left a piece, a pamphlet that said 1 day at a time. Guys, I kid you not. I told myself this morning that I'm going to have another realization to kind of bring myself out of this negative cycle. And it said, take 1 day at a time. And what I realized is that I've been focusing so much on the future, guys. And that's even before the self-transformation journey. I was so focused. Every time I'd be like, oh, I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to make all this money. And I'd be focusing on the mansion. And that's great, guys. But I wasn't focused on the present moment. I wasn't really focused on the present moment. So when I was doing something, I was over there. I wasn't here. I was over there. I was always over there. I wasn't enjoying the moment. And even, you catastrophize, you make the future seem so scary. It's like, oh my god, the future's so scary. And I always, like, I struggled with that ever since I was a kid, where it was like the first day of class, and I in my head I'd have this image of myself embarrassing myself. I'd throw up in class, and I'd get so nervous. And that happened even before a presentation. I would have all these kind of scary images of my head, but I wasn't enjoying the present moment. I wasn't in the present moment. I was somewhere else. I wasn't there, like, calming myself down. I was already, like, in the future, but the future didn't exist, guys, because the future doesn't exist. When you're in the present moment, the past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist. And so I was able to, like, some years later, I was able to just focus on the present moment. So let's say it's before a presentation. I'm just about to go up, and what I do is I just focus on the present moment. So I'd breathe, and then I'd relax myself, and then I'd be confident. I would tell myself that, like, hey, I can do this. I'm confident. I'm gonna go out there with my best intention in mind. And what would happen is I would feel confident. And instead of that image in my head that I'm going to embarrass myself, I'm going to choke up, I'm so scared of all the people in the future, right? The worst case scenario. The reality is, because I took control of the present moment, I was able to go up on that stage and I had good confidence. And so the idea is 1 day at a time, because a lot of times, we're so worried about the future, like, oh, the world's going to end, there's going to be a natural disaster, there's going to be, a giant earthquake, there's going to be, what did I worry about as a kid? Man, I worried about so much stuff. I'm like, how am I going to make all this money? How am I going to, how am I going to handle all this stuff? And, sometimes you just have to let it flow. You just have to take 1 day at a time. Because sometimes, even with progress, we're so amped up on, like, the 30-day challenge for guys. For example, like, I didn't, when I started this 30-day challenge, I was like, I had some expectations, but I just took it 1 day at a time for the most part. And I did have some ideas of where I wanted to be, but it wasn't about necessarily extremely, like, 30 days, what's going to happen after 30 days. It was like every single day I'm going to work on myself, and eventually I saw that progress happen little by little, and you just do it 1 day at a time, one step at a time, and finally you get to that point. And so that's what I wanted to mention about that. And so yeah, that's what I noticed. This 30-day challenge has been great. I included a lot more vitamins in my diet. Yeah, I had definitely I started off with some stuff that I was familiar with, like fish oil. I started off with a lot of vitamins that were necessary. Then I got to ashwagandha, and then I bought I bought maca, which I heard about through the NoFap community, and then I bought some stuff that I heard through Huge Loads, which was it seemed like a channel that was legit. Like I did research beforehand, and what I discovered though was that one of the ones that I was taking, which is was called, it wasn't maca, it was Damiano leaves, which they said was, which Huge Loads was talking about how it's good for testosterone, and I saw another video. It's like, oh, testosterone boosting. I was like, okay. Then I did a bit more research, and then I found out that it was used. Some people, if you take too much of it or something like that, you get it's hallucinogenic, and some people smoke Damiano leaves for that purpose. And I was like, that seems kind of sketchy, but for me, it's like I guess I didn't buy it, to smoke it. Yeah, I bought it because I thought it would boost my testosterone and my retention ability, and I realized, like I said, I'm not gonna do any sort of supplement related to marijuana or anything like that. No, or hemp or anything like that. But the Damian, I had no idea. I thought it was part of the. I didn't realize that. But then again, I remember when I started doing chamomile, I thought I saw a video where it said like some guy was smoking chamomile leaves, but some people use substances for I mean, granted, like I said, I think that's not the right way to use it. You're not supposed to use it like that. But some people chase highs in different places. But I decided to just throw it away because after finding that out and realizing, I guess it was one of those investments that, I made the investment because I thought it would boost testosterone, and I thought it was safe, but it seemed a little sketchy. So I don't really want to take it anymore. If it's gonna be like if it's gonna have the hallucinogenic aspect of it, I didn't really want to partake in that, to be honest. So yeah, I decided to throw it out. It was one of those decisions that's like, I think that it's best. I think I have enough supplements for now. I've been taking this week. I added maybe four. I have so many supplements, guys. Like literally, when I eat breakfast, it's like my breakfast is mostly composed of supplements. So yeah, I gotta just stick with what I have, and then just go from there and see the progress out, because not a lot of these supplements I've been taking for that long. But what I will say is that yeah, I gotta ease up on the supplements. I've been noticing a lot more difference. Like I feel a lot more mentally clear. I feel less stressed out. I feel like my body's getting all the nutrition it needs through the supplements and the vitamins. But I just got to be careful with what I take, and I can't trust everything that I see, And that's one thing that I realized is that, that the subconscious programming, the matrix. I realized that a lot of the things that we are taught are not necessarily everything that. Not everything is as it seems. Like a lot of the stuff I saw on TV, a lot of stuff I listened to on the radio, a lot of the music that I listened to, I just realized that it's like, wow, this stuff, not everything you can't take everything for face value. So, I'd watch the news when I was younger, and I'd take everything for face value. I'd get scared when I watched the news. I'd be like, oh man, I'd get so caught up in all the world events, the protests and the shootings, and I just, because the news reaches so many people. And for me as a kid, I just didn't know how to process it, and so it really affected me. And I remember just watching some of the stuff happening on the news like religiously, and I get so sucked in. But then as I got older, I just realized how dramatic the news is, and it's like entertainment. And then I realized how much it was programming my mind. So I decided to ease off the news. I probably won't watch the news ever again, to be honest. Even a news article, I'd rather visit a different site. I think I'm gonna stop watching the news, stop reading news articles, and then really cut out the social media stuff, because that I notice a lot of stress coming from there. But I can't cut it out completely because I'm planning on doing social media marketing. That's that's like my purpose right there, is I have this idea, guys, social media marketing. I have a neighborhood that I want to target. I have a business idea, and I know it's going to be successful. And I kid you not, that's probably going to be what I'm going to focus on for the next month. Is I'm going to build this business idea, and it's going to grow, guys. And I'm going to make sure that I can't just focus on the money though, because I actually know a fellow entrepreneur, and he said that you can't just focus on the material aspect of things, because that will only get you so far. And I started to realize that throughout this journey, is that the law of attraction is real. I believe that the universe exists. There's something out there I can't explain, and that things come back to you. And I just realized that from the journey that I've been on, that there's something out there, and I think that makes life so essential, that there's a purpose to all this, and I can't explain it, but it's really powerful. And the craziest thing is that it's manifestation. It's the ability to manifest things into reality. And it's powerful when you get more into it, because I know it's true. I kid you not, guys. I have experienced it before, where I work hard on something and I visualize it and it manifests into reality. It doesn't matter how impossible it seems, guys, because nothing is impossible when you put your mind to it. Your mind is the most powerful tool out there. So even though things seem impossible, like I thought I wouldn't get any, the scholarships, for example. I thought, or even sitting at the front row of my graduation and having the valedictorian, call out my name, and to have that notoriety that I never thought I would have. I kid you not, guys. Throughout my whole school life, I flew kind of under the radar, but that last senior year, I put in that effort, and I didn't give up, guys. I didn't. And there was it was tricky, because I wasn't always happy go lucky even in senior year, but I had faith, and these opportunities that I never would have imagined started to manifest into reality, because I kept pushing forward. I kept doing things. I kept improving myself. And guys, if you do that, you can manifest anything into your reality. People love to say things are impossible. That's impossible. That's impossible. Yada, yada, yada. But the reality is, you can create anything and manifest your reality. And it's powerful stuff. And I just got to get back into that. I got to have faith, and I got to trust in the universe, and I got to remember that whatever I set my mind to, I can manifest into reality. So I hope you guys have a great night. I'll probably do a part 2 tomorrow, because there's so many things to review in the 30-day challenge. And I recommend that you guys take a break, from the overall stress of life, and to just, find things you can improve. Find things that you've always tried to improve. Maybe your diet, maybe your sleeping patterns, maybe exercise, maybe mindfulness, meditation, reading books, watching, self-development videos. Just take a look at that stuff, because it can transform your life. Also, believe in the universe, because you can create your own reality every single day. So I'll leave it with you guys, and I got to head off to sleep soon. So have a good night.